When I left high school, and throughout my entire duration of high school, I was told, go to college, and that would literally set me up for success in life. The ultimate success that I've talked about, that thought was the only form of success, which is the external material things, right? And so I went to college, I did all the things, graduated with my degrees, and I was met with a rude awakening. I didn't get the life that I thought I was promised. And that left me frustrated, aggravated, and like I was at square one because I'd invested so much time and effort into becoming this successful person that went to college, got the job, being able to do all the things, and none of those things came with me leaving that experience. So that automatically made me feel like I did everything wrong. When essentially I just followed a roadmap that wasn't totally mine, but everybody that gave it to me thought that's what the roadmap was supposed to be. And so after a while, I kind of catch on into thinking about what success actually means to me. I talked about this in my previous video, and I kind of have this comparison of thinking what is looking good versus feeling right. This is something that is it's not easy to answer, right? Because when you've literally felt like you are have been at the bottom of the barrel for a while and you get an opportunity that you think is going to be the breakthrough moment for you, and then you have to choose not to take it because it doesn't feel right, it's kind of contradictory with you show up because you don't really know what to do with it. It feels like you're making an insane, crazy decision because it's not the popular opinion. It's not what the world would clap at. But after going through different experiences that have taught me what I actually desire my life to feel like, what I actually want to be excited about waking up to every single day, I know that I have to make a calculated decision to choose experiences that feel right to me, even if they don't look good to other people. Because I've lived my life for other people for so long that is not benefiting me. And I'm not talking about strangers, I'm talking about people who have my best interests at heart. But at the same time, we are all on our own journeys, we are all on our own paths. Yes, we are colliding with each other, but there are different things that we have to just go through just to be able to get to that next step. And I have to feel comfortable with the decisions that I'm making to create a life for me. No, at this point in my life, after doing it the other way for so long. The next thing that I want to talk about in this aspect of creating a life that actually fits me is understanding that your environment does matter a lot. You know, when I was growing up, I would always hear my family members, different people in my family, they always say, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. And it's not that you're bashing anybody or anything. It's just an old proverb that basically means the things that you're around are going to shape the way that you show up. How I like to put it is osmosis. You are literally going to take in things that you are around for a long time. And so that's why it's very important to be intentional about the things that you're around. Your environment matters because it's going to shape the way that you think, the way that you see the world, the way that you see yourself, and the way that you show up for experiences because of how you see yourself, right? The work that you do matters because not every work style fits you, not every career path fits you, not everything brings out the best in you, not everything showcases your skills in a way that paints you in the best light. There are a lot of experiences that we take on that they don't really show our full potential, but we are just doing it because we think that's the only opportunity we'll ever qualify for, or we think that because we have responsibilities, because we have the bills, because we have the things that we need to take care of, we just have to take something because it's being given. And there are seasons and time for that because we have to do what needs to be done sometimes to be able to do what you want to do. But I don't believe that is the way that we are designed to live our entire life. Yes, there's a season for it, and we have to decide and be intentional about not having that season just be forever, right? The people that you are around, they do matter, because there are a lot of times when we do need people to pour into us. We do need people to feed into our dreams and to encourage us, because even though we want these dreams, even though we desire to be better at things that we're doing, and we desire to be ultimately successful, there are times when we are unmotivated. There are times when we feel down because nothing feels like it's going our way. And we just need to have that support system to breathe life into us and to remind us that we're capable of achieving the things that we set out to achieve. And vice versa. There's a lot of time I see people with potential to achieve greatness, but because they don't have that support system around them that is helping them to do things, whether it's physically assisting them or it's emotionally supporting them, or whatever way that they can, because they don't have that support, they just literally just don't produce. And it's not to say that all of your support should come from external sources, because you definitely have to be your biggest motivator. You definitely have to be your biggest support system and be okay with nobody ever supporting you. But that doesn't mean that having people to support you is not important. It doesn't mean that not having people to pour into you is not a necessary part of that system to help you get to the level that you desire to get to, right? And lastly, your energy matters. Oh my God, I can literally talk about energy all day, because sometimes we don't understand that there are times when we produce a lot better based on the energy that we are around. And not just the energy that we're around, but because we are not monitoring our own energy, because we're not realizing that there are things that are sucking it out of us, right? And there are times, and this goes back to all of the things that I just talked about: your environment, your work, the people that are around you, because there are environments that energizes you and there are environments that drain you, and realizing the difference is going to be the difference between producing the life that you want. You know, I talked about in the previous video about sacrifice versus self-abandonment, because there are a lot of times when we have to push ourselves to go through things, because if you literally quit at every time something goes bad, we will never achieve anything. But there is a limit between just quitting on everything and just sacrificing away your entire life. There has to be a balance, and in that balance you realize that you literally have to protect your energy at all costs. You know, we say protect our time, we say protect our money, but energy is equally as important, because when you have the energy to produce the results that you want in your life, you're more likely to do it. And I don't mean physical energy, I mean capacity also. I mean mental energy, to be able to plan, to be able to create a vision for your life, to be able to execute on those things, because you have the capacity to be able to do it, right? All of that matters. It's not just thinking that you're going to build the life that you want and you're not going to pay attention to what is around you. I touched on this a little bit when I was going on and on about the environments and so forth. I'm going to talk a little bit deeper about it. Paying attention to what gives you energy. I literally realized that I've worked in environments that I felt extremely productive in, and I've worked in environments that I felt extremely depleted in. And in those environments, the same things did not give nor take away my energy. They were just different things that were either doing one or the other. And I didn't realize I needed to pay attention to this very much until I realized I literally had no capacity. In a previous season, I started managing my energy. I started realizing what was going on with myself, and this is when I actually had made that intentional decision that I'm not putting myself through these draining environments for a more prolonged period, right? And I realized the environment was very draining for me, but I wasn't at a place where I could just leave at the moment. So I had to just create a plan and figure out how I was going to transition from that experience. And while I was there, though, I was forced to pay attention to every single encounter in my days that were draining me. And mighty God, was I surprised. I had way more draining experiences than I had energizing experiences. And what good could come from an environment that is constantly draining you? You got it right. None. Because you literally are not at your ultimate best. And so when I started posting on my YouTube channel daily videos, that was something that gave me that intentional eyes to see that my energy was being drained all the time, and that I needed to protect my energy, because at the end of my days, I used to film at the end of my days, and I needed my energy to be able to film at the end of the days. And I didn't have any energy when I got to the end of my day, not because I was intentionally giving it away, but because it was being sucked out of me with every single interaction that was happening in my days. And so I knew I had to make a change. And this is something that I just had to pay attention to a lot in that season. And I don't know if, as I'm speaking, this is ringing any bell for you, but this is something that is super important. Your energy is what is going to help you to produce. Your energy is what's going to help you to get to that next level. And it is very important to pay attention to where it's coming from when you're getting it, and to where it's going when you're losing it. So I want to talk a little bit about building a life around your actual values. I've always heard people talk about core values in terms of the organization's core values, and what they are about in their business, the type of people that they choose to work with them, and the type of business that they choose to conduct, and so forth. I've never really thought about it on a personal level until I've really had to sit down in that previous season, as I mentioned, and really calculate what's the type of lifestyle that I would want for myself. And in that experience, I really thought about a lot of different core values that are important to me. I've mentioned one of them in a previous video. Is ownership, is having the space to breathe and not feeling claustrophobic in my own life all the time, right? And your values are things that are important to you, things that are going to protect your energy, right? And to give you what you need to be able to produce your best experience the best outcome for yourself. And so what is valuable to me and what is important to me may not be that for you, but for everybody, it's important to identify what are your actual core values and choosing opportunities that align with those. Just as companies would literally choose to employ you if you fit within those scopes, it's the same way we have that choice to choose opportunities that align with our core values. I talked about this word align before, and this is exactly what I'm referring to. Having some things that are aligned is basically aligned with the values that you have for yourself, the way that you feel about yourself, and the way that you want to show up, the experiences that you want to have. That's what it's aligned with. It's aligned with your core values. I really believe that sometimes we just throw words around and we don't really know what it means, but that's what, for me, the alignment would look like, aligned with my core values. Ownership is just one, but I just wanted to paint that picture as to what exactly am I aligning it with. As I'm wrapping up this video, I just want to talk about one very important thing, and that's accepting that your definition of a good life can change. Just as when I was younger, I had a different idea of what success felt like to me or would look like to me. And as I've progressed over the years and chased that version of success, then realizing that it's not the success that I would want for myself. It's very exhausting, actually. And I have just changed the way that I view success. It's the same way the idea that you have in your head of what you want your life to be like can change. What you think is a good life at 20 may not be a good life at 30. And as the years progress, it may change. It doesn't have to change, but it may change. And so being open that And just accepting that even if it does change, you're not crazy for or indecisive. We can change our minds, right? And this is not permission to be impulsive, but at the end of the day, it's not a fixed thing. It's not fixed in stone. It's more like this is what I want it to be now, and I am open to seeing where this goes, how this feels to me, and if this is something that I want to continue as my progression. So as I am thinking about building a life that actually fits me, it's something that is adjusting over time, because life is lifing. Nothing stays the same, and just as things are changing outside, we have to change internally as well to be able to match that flow and to see what feels good and not just what looks good. So as you've watched this video, I hope it sparks something in you that can be helpful to this season in your life. And if it did, I would like you to comment below and share what that is. The community could benefit from that as well. And subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Share this video with anybody who it could benefit, and give me a like so that this could go out to other people as well. And follow me on all social media platforms at Khrista-Lee Amor. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I'll see you in my next video. Let's go make some mistakes. Bye.